Happy Collins doesn't like me.
Okay, the land use board, the July 11th meeting of the Greenwich Township Land Use Board is called to
No,
order.
we're here.
This is a regular meeting of the Land Use Board of the Township of Greenwich. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. In that, a notice was published in the Express Times and Star Ledger newspapers. Notice was posted on the municipal bulletin board at the Township Administration Building in Greenwich Township, New Jersey, and notice was filed with the Township Clerk.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bruce Williams,
Here.
Mr. Mark Scuderi,
Here.
Mr. Paul Beam,
Here.
Mr. Joseph Chicallo,
Here.
Mr. Brian Baylor asked to be excused tonight. Ms. Kathy Cullen asked to be excused tonight. Mr. Gary Hill,
Here.
Mr. Joseph Biema,
Here.
Mr. Jeremy Blunt asked to be excused tonight. Ms. Andrea Sherlaw.
Here.
Mr. George Bradlaugh.
Here.
Ms. Dana Parker.
Here.
Mr. Bob Graham.
Here.
Board Attorney, Mr. John Drill.
Here.
Board Engineer, Mr. Mike Finelli.
Here.
Board Planner, Ms. Kendra Lely.
She asked to be excused because the
She's
application
excused.
involving the D variance came off.
Okay.
Okay, so I need a motion to excuse Jeremy Blunt, Kathy Cullen, and Brian Baylor.
Motion.
Second.
Mark and Gary. Mr. Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Mr. Paul Beam.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Chicallo.
Yes.
Ms. Kathy Cullen. I'm sorry, Mr. Joseph Biema.
Yes.
Mr. Gary Hill.
Yes.
Ms. Andrea Sherlaw.
Yes.
Mr. George Bradlaugh.
Yes.
Ms. Dana Parker.
Yes.
Mr. Bob Graham.
Yes.
Okay, please rise for flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first order of business is approval of the May 9th minutes. Any discussion or corrections? Okay, means wonderful minutes. I did notice, you know, that in there you mentioned this, that about this B1, B2 zone that happened, I guess, after the meeting.
Mhm.
Hey, where is that?
Oh, I
So,
put it in brackets.
so apparently, you know, if you recall last month, there was a lot of discussion about, it was supposed to be us acting on B1 and B2 zone, an ordinance for B1 and B2, but it came in, the ordinance is written, only mentioned the B1. And apparently afterwards, I guess, it says that and you can read it here. It was discovered that everything permitted in the B1 zone is also permitted in the B2. Thus, there is no need to specify B2 zone in the ordinance change.
I'll put it this way. You can now add that in brackets as part of this, right, as part of this meeting if you approve these minutes.
Yeah, I just want to point that out.
Yeah, that's, and the way to handle it was putting it in brackets.
I think it's, you know, the back and forth between you
I don't think so. Yes, Mike.
or with, oh,
Kendra, maybe it was with Kendra, I don't.
Yeah,
remember
man, right,
something.
there might have been some,
Yeah.
yeah, there could have been an email between me and Kendra, because she asked, I do remember now. She was like, famous.
and she said everything in the B2 or the
Yeah.
B1s in the
Yeah,
B2 anyway, so you wouldn't have to mention it.
Okay?
I should have cited my source.
Well, it's just okay. I did read them, so.
I see them.
In any case, so if there are no other corrections or any corrections, then I need a motion to approve the minutes as written. Motion. Mark?
I'll second.
And Gary.
And Gary.
That's it.
Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Paul Beam.
Yes.
Joseph Chicallo.
Yes.
Brian Baylor is absent tonight. Kathy Cullen is absent tonight. Joseph Biema.
Yes.
Gary Hill.
Yes.
Andrea Sherlaw.
Yes.
George Bradlaugh.
Yes.
Bob Graham.
Yes.
It's about the same.
Okay, now I think we should make an announcement. We have Centennial Storage is listed on the agenda. However, they did not advertise in time for this meeting.
So they didn't advertise at all.
They advertised in the wrong paper, I think.
No, that was another applicant.
Oh, really?
They didn't make it on here.
Okay.
That was one
Yeah,
over.
you're right. So in any case, they didn't advertise, so therefore,
They requested this meeting. And then you can ask Amy,
Their engineer requested the meeting and I guess didn't communicate with
to
the
the
attorney,
the attorney said he knew nothing about it.
even though he was on the email sheet.
so in any case, we will not hear the centennial
And
storage
Centennial was gonna
application.
have to-
And by the way,
Sentinel.
Sentinel.
And they're gonna have to, it's not even renotice, they're gonna have to note.
They want a notice for the August meeting.
Okay. All right. So, next order of business will be resolution 1500 West Avenue LLC. This is the, this is Wendy's, right?
Right, this is the Wendy's resolution.
Any questions or comments on the very long
Yeah,
resolution?
it's on the long side. I was just saying that normally they don't get this long unless it's a controversial or very complicated commercial application like a solar field, but this one, I was saying in 35 years, it's had 44 either variances or exceptions granted, plus the rescission of that chamois shine pork chop condition, 45 pieces of relief. And so it is what it is.
But basically all because of a very unusual lot. size.
Yeah, very undersized, very unusual lot.
one page per each,
Well, that's a good way of thinking about
it
it.
was 49 pages,
Yeah.
44, 45
Yeah.
exceptions.
Good way of thinking
Close.
about it. Close, yeah. I apologize for the length, but I dotted the i's and crossed the
And,
t's.
and maybe that's why I didn't see what I was looking for, because I kept falling asleep during it, but. Maybe I shouldn't have said it that way.
That's all right.
Specifically, I was looking for those concrete pillars as the protection in front, and I even tried searching by keywords.
The bollards, did you search for bollard?
Well,
Not bollard,
but,
no, I
but
didn't
the
know.
bollards
but the-
are on the approved site plan.
Correct.
So,
It would
that-
not
that's-
be in here as a.
well, no,
'Cause
I mean, I get, it could be, but it doesn't have to be, because
Right.
it's part of the approved plan. So when they
Okay.
go to build this,
Right.
we will hopefully
See
make
it,
sure that they
So,
get
What
constructed.
you normally see in the plan revision conditions are things that weren't on the plans that either the board's professionals or the board wanted to see on the plan.
Okay.
So
Sometimes.
it's not a revision, it's not a.
Correct. It's sometimes in a discussion, if something came up, a safety issue came up and they said, no, the proposed bollards will handle that, then you'd see it in the discussion. But if nothing came up about it, I would not want to make this resolution any longer.
I didn't initially expect to see it, but then when I started seeing details about the curbage and other thing, I thought, okay, maybe it would be in here, so that was the only reason why.
But those all required variance.
Right.
Yep.
I should have used my supposed to.
But it is here. It is here.
Okay, the bollard.
Page 45. Safety bollards shall be added to the east side of the
Whoa.
building patio.
He didn't get that far.
Isn't our attorney on top of things?
How do you like that? Whoa, look at that. Condition 1C4.
4.
Safety bollards shall be added along the east side of the building and patio. There's your condition.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
Thank you,
page
sir.
44, you said you fell asleep, so.
I didn't know.
Maybe page 39, 40. So you get the 44.
All right, so if there's no other discussions or whatever, George,
Just to remind you guys that I'm recused from Wendy's
Thank you.
because of
Right,
independent, unrelated professional involvement with their attorney.
right. Well, but here, the eligible people to vote on the resolution are Williams, Gudaris, Hello, Cullen, Deanna, Hill, and Blunt. Those are the only people eligible to vote. Those are the only people who will be called to vote, because those are the people who voted on granting the approval. So a memorializing resolution can only be voted on to be adopted by those who voted in favor of granting the relief.
okay, so I'd like a motion to adopt,
By one of those people.
yes. Application number 2304, Mark. And second, Gary,
Mark and Gary again. Okay. Mr. Bruce Williams.
yes,
Mr. Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Chikella.
Yes.
Ms. Kathy Cullen is absent.
Yep.
Mr. Joseph Fiamma,
Yes.
Mr. Gary Hill,
Yes.
and Mr. Fermi Blind is absent also.
Okay, so that brings us to application 2024, Vivek Raina. You'll come forward. What do we need to do? Swear that?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I.
You can come anywhere, that doesn't
Right,
work.
that microphone doesn't work. Those microphones up in the ceiling, you can actually stay
You
there.
can stand there if you feel more comfortable there, but.
And, you know, point your voice up towards those microphones, they'll pick you up.
Alright, got it.
This is the applicant. We're gonna swear him in, and we're gonna swear in the board's participating expert tonight, which is Mike Finelli, the board's engineering expert. So can both of you raise your right hands? Do both of you swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and for the record, identify yourself and spell your first and last name.
My name is Vivek Rana, VIRANA.
And you are the applicant.
Correct.
And can you identify yourself, mister?
I can.
Will you?
Mike Finelli, PE, board engineer.
Okay.
All right, so would you like to describe your application?
Yeah, sure. We're trying to build a deck in the rear of our house. All the neighbors around my house has it, so I thought it will be a good choice for us too. And that's my application, just trying to build a deck. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Okay, that's not a problem at all. Mike, do you want to add
Well,
anything?
maybe let me ask, Mr. Reyna, just a couple questions.
Sure.
How many members of this land use board used to be on the zoning board? I know Mr. Williams, obviously, or that's it, Bruce,
Am I the only
you're the
one?
lone soldier? You and me and John? Okay. Okay, there was a period of time back when there was we had both a planning and a zoning board, that the patio home lots in Greenwich Chase, which this is one,
Correct.
that's the one question tonight, which have a 5,000 square foot lot area. It became, and the setbacks that were established when that zone was created back way back when the lawsuit was settled for the affordable units, that to put a deck on the back of the house proved impossible to meet the rear yard setback. So there was a period of time, we were hearing
We were
these every
doing
month.
3 or 4 a month.
Yeah, there was, and we haven't had one in
Years.
long time.
Years. I didn't
So-
realize there was still a home that didn't have a deck.
Yeah. Well,
So-
we just moved 2 years ago, so.
All right. So, so that's not the only proof that Mr. Reyna should maybe discuss tonight briefly, but there was a rash of these almost identical type of applications, and it's gotta go back into the mid-2010s.
Because
maybe
basically,
before.
the home takes up the entire building envelope.
Correct.
So you cannot
And-
put up a deck without a variance.
Yeah, and the rear yard setback is 15 feet, which is not a huge setback, but the rear of the home, based upon the footprint of these patio homes, almost took you to that 15-foot setback. So if you're gonna add even a 10 by 10 deck, you're gonna be encroaching. So that really is kind of a little bit of the history, even though.
Right, that's the
When-
history. So what the board is supposed to ask you is there a place on the lot where you can fit the deck and satisfy the setbacks? And if there is, why do you want it in the rear rather than in that place? So the logical thing would be the north arrows to the left. So it looks like you could fit a deck on the southerly side. So why are you proposing it in the rear rather than the side? This might sound like a stupid question to you, but can you explain?
Sure. Well, I don't wanna be the out ones standing out, so.
All the other decks have, all the other houses have rear yards.
Correct, yes.
You just wanna be like your neighbors.
Correct, yeah.
Well, and the access to that side of your house, I'm sure, is in the
The rear.
rear, probably off your kitchen, like
Correct, yeah,
most
yeah.
everybody's is. as opposed to the side, which is probably what, a family room or a
Correct.
bedroom or whatever it may be.
So in the blueprint, if you see a fire, chimney, sorry, that's where
Yes.
the rear door is, right next to it. Yep.
Yep, you see that, you have that attached, yep. And if it was on the side, you'd have to go through your, what?
Kitchen,
Living room,
kitchen or living room?
yeah.
One question I asked in my letter, Mr. Rayner,
Correct.
I mean, you supplied a survey. Was accurate and helpful.
Correct.
But you didn't show the 15-foot setback so that we could establish the level of encroachment over that setback.
Okay,
Oh, put it this way, Mike. On the Parker survey
Yep.
dated November 8, 2023, he's handwritten in that he proposes the deck would be 5 feet off the rear yard lot line on the southerly end of the deck and 8 feet, 8 3/8 feet off the left-hand side. So we could figure out the encroachment, but the issue is, let's say that the board granted the variance for what you're asking.
Mhm.
There's gonna be a condition that says after the deck is built, you need to have a survey.
An updated survey from Park
Right.
or.
So if the
whomever.
deck, and you're asking to have it, it's supposed to 5 feet on one side and
Sure.
8 3/8 feet on the other. If the deck is closer than 5 feet,
okay,
you're not gonna get a CO.
okay.
So the issue is, how did you, I know you want your deck to be 11 feet.
Well, I mean, I can cut it down, 11 feet.
But we're not
is-
suggesting that you have to, we're not saying.
We're just saying, what, if the board gives you what you ask for.
Correct.
Then you're stuck with what you ask for. So how did you figure this out? Just to give yourself,
In other words, are you sure that's what you want?
yeah,
Yes, I am,
And,
yeah.
and I need to interrupt with the question, I'm sorry. I think, and I'm not sure they're backwards, but if you're looking at the survey, the 5 feet and then you have 8 3/8 feet, can't be right. Just look at it. The way the house is oriented to the rear property line, it's almost like you got.
hey, Mike, I know you're not supposed to do this, but take out a scale. You're not supposed to. Mike's the board's engineering expert, not the applicant, but take out a scale and see what it scales out to. Is this
If this
a
is-
direct one-to-one copy? of the-
Yeah.
Make sure this
Yeah.
is two.
But remember, the deck
Okay,
is
it
back
is.
on, so.
Oh, okay, the 11 feet on the, I'll call it the south side of the
Yeah.
deck. It appears from the property line, there is 16 feet. So 5 and 11 would be right.
Yep.
Now,
So
on the other
The northerly
side,
side.
it looks like there's 24 feet. So, no, it actually would work. That's right, that the numbers, so if it's 24 minus 16, it
Thing
would
that's
be
throwing
8
us up,
change.
the 8 3/8 feet.
Sorry, I use fractions.
I know, we like go with
Yeah,
8 point something feet, or 8 feet X number of inches,
Oh, really?
not yet 3/8 of a foot.
so maybe what we wanted to, a 15-foot rear yard setback would obviously.
Be
Give
within
you,
1
give
foot.
you. Right,
Right,
so maybe that's the way we wanna look at any sort of motion, with that, looking at it that way with 15 feet minus the deck size and
right,
the
but,
balance.
there should be a condition, in my opinion, if the board grants it, that the deck can be no closer. The deck has to be parallel to the rear of the dwelling.
Mhm.
And it can't be any closer to the rear property line than 5 feet.
Fine, that's
No portion of the deck can be.
Right,
closer than
the
5 feet.
motion.
So
Agreed.
if it's parallel and no closer than 5 feet, and you're satisfied with
Yes,
that. You make sure that corner is not closer than 5 feet.
Okay,
Now, are you gonna have stairs going down from that deck into the backyard?
yes, I will on the
The north side or the south side?
south side.
Okay, south side,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
And,
we should make that as a.
hold it, I know, but where are the stairs gonna be? If the stairs are gonna be in the south eastern corner, those stairs are gonna be closer than 5 feet, so I
No,
assume.
no, it will be closer to the
The
wall.
house side.
Yes,
Okay. Let me just take a couple notes, hold on.
You want to pull up the house or? See it, yes.
So we're not talking an encroachment level, we're talking about no portion shall be closer than 5 feet to the
That's
property
right.
line.
I would say there should be
Instead of
a
calculating
minimum
it.
setback of 5 feet.
I'm gonna calculate it for the portion of the resolution that says what the variance is for,
Okay,
but the condition. Will say no closer than 5 feet, just to make it easier, and there's gonna be a condition about an as-built. Survey, and then this is just advice unless the board wants to make it a condition. Since you're gonna have to get a surveyor out there anyway, to do the measurement after, if you pay a little bit more money, but it's like an insurance policy. If you pay the surveyor to come out and stake it out beforehand.
Okay.
You can get a stake put in either at 5 feet or at 4 feet. So you can measure 12 inches from that. Then you're relying on the surveyor's stakeout
okay,
to construct it. And then when he comes back to do the as-built, there shouldn't be any problem. If you
So-
only,
so that your builder doesn't, are you building that yourself or you?
no, I'm not.
Okay, so you don't want him to make a
right,
mistake.
because the board has had its fair share over the years of contractor errors on setbacks, pool installation errors on setbacks. Then then they don't give you a CO, then you gotta come back here.
Okay.
And ask for relief from the mistake. Which.
Okay.
Ends up costing you money.
We ready for questions from the members? The board members have any questions for the applicant?
I'm not sure if he can answer, but who maintains the walkway behind the house?
It's the
The homeowners,
HOA.
HOA?
Yeah,
Is there any requirements of the HOA with regards to that 5 foot in order for them to maintain that walkway?
so I was already approved for my HOA, and that's when I.
Yeah, by the way, do you have a copy of that HOA approval with you?
I have an email, I can,
Can you just forward the email to Amy?
Sure.
Make it part of the file.
Yeah, that was my only concern is the maintenance of that walkway.
Anyone else have any questions? Are there any members of the public here that would have questions? Are there any members of the public here that?
The members of the public here, are the members of the public here with the applicant? No.
Maybe you want to ask the gentleman in the black checkered shirt if he would like to say something. That, by the way, is Ryan Bosden, for anybody that's seen his name on some media.
Ah,
He's an
okay.
engineer.
Mike's having a shadow.
I didn't expect him, he wanted to come to, if Sentinel was on,
okay.
but I didn't expect to see him tonight, so. That's Mr. Ryan Bosden.
Okay. So the public,
It's pretty good. You haven't seen anyone get mad at Mike tonight. That's good.
He will be disappointed, John, if you don't give me one shot before the meeting.
I'll try to figure it out. So far, you've been so good. There's nothing I can do.
so. No other questions from,
And my only question is, do you wanna make a condition for a stakeout and the as-built or only the as-built and he does it at his risk? You guys can discuss that. You know, do you guys understand stakeout versus as-built?
explain it, John.
Okay.
Can we just say that that's his risk?
Yeah,
I mean,
we
he's
can.
gotta do the setbacks, so. You
Okay,
know, you gave really good advice and.
okay, so it doesn't look like they're gonna require a stakeout, but again, great insurance. Get that stakeout.
correct, yeah.
Mr. Rayner, are your two corners, or as it looks like, your two rear corners are both in, you know where they are?
Yes,
Okay, so you could easily run a string
I
line
could, yeah,
between those two corners, if the corners are in,
yes,
and then go 5 feet plus,
Absolutely, yeah.
and then he'll have a,
Listen, I know he can do that. All I'm saying is if a mistake. is
Well, the
made,
board
it's your
members might not
mistake.
know that the corners are in, Mr. Drill.
Oh, okay.
That if you,
I'm
they
trying to
know it's
protect them
I
CIB.
against-
don't even know what that means.
They found a pen, right?
What does that mean?
But
See,
I'm very
let's-
sure, 'cause I wouldn't want it.
if you look at the
any
survey.
possibility to be my mistake. I'd want it to be
CIB FND, that's corner found.
Yeah.
So i.e. meaning there's a corner that they found or set.
I did email you the,
Somebody will roll something into the ground.
Okay, thank
Here
you.
it is.
And Amy, you can just forward that out for our files.
Mhm.
Okay, so what would the resolution look like, Mr. Drill?
Well, what does the board want to do?
I make a motion to
Approve.
approve.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be approved, my suggestion is it's a hardship. Because you got a small lot. There's not enough room to have a rear deck. Most of the other people have a rear deck. Why shouldn't he have a rear deck like the other people? And if you deny the variance, the guy can't have a rear deck. I would call that hardship. It's not that. It's not a taking hardship. It's that he can't use the property to the extent that other people are using their properties in the development. In my opinion. You wanna grant it, that's a hardship and it's a legal hardship.
Okay, so the motion would be to,
I made your motion.
to grant the application,
Subject to the conditions we talked about.
subject to the conditions that we talked about. We have,
Mark,
Mark, and we need a second.
Mark, the
I
motion
think
is-
Joe,
Jeff, Ellen,
Joe, Joe.
Sharon,
Mark's on a roll tonight. so-
Mr. Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Mr. Paul Beam,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Chicallo,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Fiamma,
Yes,
Mr. Gary Hill,
Yes.
Mr. Jeremy Blunt.
Not here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Andrea Sherlaw,
Yes.
Mr. George Bradlaugh,
Yes.
and Miss Dana Parker.
Yes.
okay,
Okay. Motion passes.
can I suggest one other thing?
Yes.
Because. Yeah, what's your time? When do you wanna do this? Soon as possible or?
yeah, I already gave the money to contractor before I found this out, so.
So my suggestion is, the board can't tell the zoning officer what to do, but the board could recommend that the zoning officer treat this as if the resolution was done, because
Has been.
there's no revisions that have to be made, so that as long as his plan complies with this plan, and he's heard the conditions, it will be in the minutes before the resolution, that the zoning officer issue a zoning permit to allow the construction department to review and issue construction permits. That'll save him at least 45 days, maybe even 60 days.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second that.
You can do an all in favor on this, because this is not,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, abstained, none, okay.
Thank you so much.
Was that Gary?
And with that being said, Amy, if you can get me a copy immediately, I'll get it to Jeff on Monday.
Copy of,
The minutes.
he wants,
Well,
he wants the conditions.
the conditions,
Yeah.
you know, so that I can have Jeff approve it.
okay.
Whatever we can do.
Well, you're gonna be here Monday too, right?
Monday, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Next order of business is management of escrows. We don't have a report per se, but we do have,
I was gonna bring up about the Wendy's thing, but I wasn't sure if we could do before the variance.
well, right now, the money is in there, but if you wanna hear us. I, 35 years, I've never had something like this. I think Amy should explain.
The Wendy?
Yeah.
The checks?
Yeah.
They had the check
Well,
and it bounced,
yeah, I
and
mean,
then they had the replacement check and that bounced.
Oh,
I didn't hear that.
oh, yeah, so.
And now they have a cashier's check, that's good.
Yeah, so just so you know, 'cause you might say,
for how
look,
long?
the Wendy's application, right? The board approved it on April 11. Why did it take 90 days? Why did it take to July 11th to adopt the resolution? Now, okay, it's long, but that doesn't mean take 90 days. It's the application went pretty good. this is the most screwed up thing. There were 45 different pieces of relief. I wanted to make sure the thing was right, so I was corresponding with the applicant's attorney and their team and Mike and Kendra about especially the signage. There were so many signage variances to make sure if the resolution's adopted and certain relief is granted, and then they put the plans in, if the plans don't match up to what the resolution is, they're not gonna give a zoning permit, or they're not gonna get a construction permit. And the applicant's team was like, the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. We were going around in circles. Kendra was like, I think it's this. Mike was, I think it's that. Amy from my office was like, no, it's neither is this. The applicant did, so finally, that took literally 4 weeks. To finally the smoke settle on the signage stuff. Then started the draft and like, yeah, there's no, they owe money in escrow, there's a deficiency. You tell them, the attorney's like, yeah, we'll get that filled. Weeks go by, no check. I'm like, no checky, no writing, because who is the last guy, right? Generally, other than inspections, when Mike's involved, the last guy and the payment chain is the guy who drafts the resolution, right? The engineering reviews are done, the planning reviews are done. I write the resolution. Invariably, if there's an escrow problem, it becomes my problem. So almost another 4 weeks go by until the first check is deposited. So the first check bounces, but that's all right. Second check goes in. Apparently the 2 days go by. They were not notified that that check had bounced. They write me the check. We deposit the check. My check bounces. Then we find out that the reason, oh yeah,
I didn't know this.
yeah.
Oh, man.
My check bounces. So then we call up and, oh my God, the second escrow check bounced. So then they got on the horn and said, you gotta get a cashier's check. So we held up again. So that's why it took 90 days to get the resolution adopted. And the whole time, by the way, attorney's pushing me. Let's get the resolution.
Of course.
Dude, I gotta get the resolution right, number one. Number two, you're getting paid, I assume. I wanna be paid.
Yeah.
So that's why. Crazy story.
Wow.
As a check, cashier's check been funded yet, though? Just because you have a cashier's check doesn't mean it's funded.
Listen, my bookkeeper told me,
That's good.
yes,
Good.
A cashier's check is drawn on bank
Oh,
funds
bank
rather
funds.
than on.
right.
Yeah. They
Roads
can't
and
go
their
without
funds.
funds being
Right.
available.
Anyway,
Surprised.
Yeah.
So in any case, there, when this check is in, they
Yeah.
still have some, little bit money left in their escrow.
see, now it becomes Mike's problem, because now we.
They only have-
You're right.
You get $862, Mike, can you work with that?
No,
No, to go to construction on a whole broad, no, but we'll work
they
on that.
asked for another deposit. Now it's
Pre-construction
it's off
meeting,
me. It's
no,
not-
there will be inspection fees, which is always like the last
hours,
segment of their escrow money, so we're good.
Okay, so in addition to that, Ingerman is, well, they have 3,700 and change left, but they have 14,900 in outstanding bills, which are probably from you.
No, I'm sure they're for me, but let me explain this, because you probably don't know this, not you, the board. This is all inspection related, okay. A number of years, John, when did the inspection escrow law change? Maybe 10 years ago?
Yeah,
Okay, whatever it was, 8-10 years ago. And if there was a large project and you did an escrow estimate and you come up with, let's use,
$45,000.
oh, I was gonna say 20,000, okay. $45,000 is the estimated and required escrow to go through the whole
The whole
construction,
thing, right.
the whole construction phase. And establish all the bonding amounts and do the sign offs and so on, so forth. Okay, well, they used to have to deposit that in one lump sum.
In the good old days.
And it became a hardship to some degree to
Yeah.
developers. I mean, that's a big, a big
Chunk of money.
chunk of money.
Right.
So they changed the law to, that they could do it at 25% increments.
Yeah, the
So
builders,
why, that's why you said
builders association.
45,000 doesn't make this easy now. I'm gonna go back to
20, go back
20,000.
to 20. Go back to
So,
20.
so it's a $5,000 deposit to start, and then when they get down to, I think, 25% of that balance, they gotta put their second installment in and so forth. So Ingerman has put in their first installment, this will be, they'll need to put in a second installment. So it's fine, the Ingerman guys know, they've been good about it so
Yeah,
far,
by
so
the
that's,
way-
that's the whole
By
story.
the way, when the board first started saying, let's get these escrow reports, it wasn't for the inspection stuff.
No, because there was nothing going on,
Right,
there was no
it
inspection.
was for the application stuff, so the board knew before you're hearing an application that there was money in the escrow account. Because once they get the resolution, then it's really hard to get the money. I mean, in the Wendy's case, it was hard to get the money without the resolution, which was shocking, but anyway.
No.
So you're not worried about it?
No, and it looks worse than it is because they owe their second installment already, right now. So, and they know that. So I would suspect
And they're
the next
good
time
for it.
Shannon runs that report next month, it'll look very different. So.
Okay. Any update on affordable housing?
No. No, everything we
No.
said last time still applies.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
Nothing on the other place and.
The other place.
I call it Marquetta Towers.
They're in,
Good one.
they're. I will check, but both of those, I don't want to jinx anything, but both of those takings are getting close to settling. So they don't have to go to the open taking, but.
All right.
I should have called today, knowing you'd asked, that's my bad.
Anything else from anybody? If not,
Someone should say something.
A motion to adjourn.
oh, by the way, you got the email, this is Amy's last meeting.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose a very
Actually, I
wonderful
motion to
secretary.
reject the resignation.
Tough decision.
We understand.
Yep,
We will miss you, Miss Fleming,
yep,
and best of
absolutely.
luck with your baby.
Yes.
Yes.
I will just say, I mean, I've been doing this a long time and I represent a lot of different boards and so I have a lot of different board secretaries. Number one,
Number one.
you had her.
And you were lucky that I followed you from Raritan to
Yes.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, she was my
No,
board secretary.
actually, a good secretary makes all of the professionals' jobs easier, for
No
sure.
question about
And the chairman's as
Not to
well.
mention mine.
it.
Yeah, I
And
know, I know, I mean, when there's a former good secretary, it's good, it's
Yeah.
great. And vice versa. But,
Let's not talk about the vice versa.
no,
Yeah.
So how old does a little one need to be for you to come back?
18.
18.
Yeah, at 18, they'll be coming home later than you will from the meeting.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, with that, then we need the all important motion for adjournment.
Gary,
A motion.
Second.
Mark,
after versus.
all in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes.
All right.